My name is Rhapsody, welcome back to Astrea, 600 Oracles. It's time to go in with Orion, the Star Whisperer. Orion is probably one of my favorite, definitely one of my favorite characters. Second? I'm not going to give them definitive power rankings so far. All of this effectively just to say, I really like this character. Keen to be playing them. Orion, if you have managed to miss the episodes where Orion has been covered so far, has orbs that do individual effects, Cosmic Devotion, the Knowledge Orb, and the Karma Orb, and we effectively manage rotating between them as our way of casting in combat. So, first star blessing here on offer is the Cosmos Elixir. When Astrea is triggered, refresh your virtues. That's exceptionally powerful. And it would give me something to start drafting towards. There's also the Ceremonial Link. Whenever you or a Sentinel deal corruption to an enemy, cast a random orb 3 times. The fact that it can cast a random orb, and it could easily just cast Karma, which gives me Karma. Karma being a bit of a toughie to deal with, as it has the ability to activate when you gain 6 stacks of it, dealing 6 corruption to you. I am deeply threatened by random orb casts for exactly that reason. Whenever you or a Sentinel deal corruption to an enemy, gain 2 cosmic expansions. For X casts, Cosmic Orb will deal purification to all targets. No, I'm definitely going with the Cosmos Elixir here. So I'm going to be looking for ways to trigger Astrea. I mean, payoffs from Astrea will also be particularly powerful for us. Here's the Alchemist's Missile, deals 1 purification to any target for each Astrea you have, then decrease your Astrea by 1. That would be a good way to get some potency in that deck. There's also Sacrament Inscription here in the center on our balance die. Gain 1 Sacrament Inscription, which says whenever Karmic Orb becomes active, gain X Protective Sacrament. Which says on the next Devotion Orb cast, Devotion Orb will apply Light Shield to you, and Light Shield will be increased by X. So it makes rotating a little bit safer. And then finally Purify. Big Purify sides, small Purify sides. I'm going with the Alchemist's Missile here. Astral Exchange. For a minimum Astrea of 3, I have the ability to choose a dice from the draw pool and roll. Well, actually, sorry, for a minimum of 2 all the way up until 7. It doesn't cost me any Astrea to do, though. Just means I have to have that amount first. There's also the Transcendence, deals 2 purification to any target, deals 9 additional purification for each time your discard was shuffled back into your draw pool during this battle. I do really like the idea of getting a Transcendence early and then just trying to remove every other dice from my deck. Finally, Astrea Singularity. At minimum Astrea of 9, draw dice until your hand is full, then lose all Astrea. I'm going to take Astral Exchange, only because I'm going to need a lot more Astrea growth before I can afford to take Astrea Singularity, but it would also generally make its way into this build at some point. Okay, so I don't have the ability to rotate anything. The Karma Orb is currently active, so I can do 3 purification to any target. The enemy is going to do 2 corruption to me as well to itself. And I have no access to reroll thing of any sort. So this is a very simple turn. I hit the enemy for all of the values that I can do, and then I don't play the final 2 die. The ones that I drafted, don't play those. Who needs them? Okay, so I could rotate to the Knowledge Orb and start gaining some Astrea. Love to do that there. Ooh, and there's also Minor Revolution to get away from it afterwards. Sure. Well, if I take 2 more damage to the enemy, I'm more than fine with that. However, they will also then trigger their Overcorruption, dealing another 3, which I'm not fine with, actually. So I am going to need to heal myself at some point here as well. I'm going to give the enemy 3 Cosmic. Let's also reroll. Oh, they're actually hitting their smallest side on their die, so I don't want to reroll them. But I'll definitely reroll our Minor Revolution. And heck, maybe the Minor Purify as well. Hey, both of them got significantly better. So I'll use 1 purification and a rotate on myself, gaining an Astrium. And then I'm pretty sure I can just target the enemy for all of the rest of this. Yep. All signs point to yes. So I'll go absolutely ham on them. I could theoretically do 1 damage and lose my Astrium, but it's probably not helpful to do so at this point. The enemy has very graciously unlocked pretty much all of our virtues here for us. Let me reroll both of these as well as the enemy. All of them are on their worst result. The enemy wants to roll a 2 in AoE if possible. Wow! Oh, that's as bad as it could have been. Oh dear. Well, first things first, I'm going to use Cleromancy to discard one of the negatives from my hand. Yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult to get to the Knowledge Orb in order to start going for Astral Exchange at this point as well. 3 in AoE, that's a lot of damage they actually represent right now. Devotion Orb gives me the ability to give 3 Light Shield to any target. I imagine I'll be casting that on myself. Let's rotate our orbs once, and then cast that a bunch of times, gaining some more light shields. Actually, now the enemy is not going to corrupt themselves, and they're also not even going to corrupt me. If I do this appropriately. I believe I can now afford to throw 3 alchemy at the enemy. 3 corruption, rather. And then give them the 3 light shield immediately back, and I'll have access to all of my virtues again next turn. Ooh, I've got 2 rotations unlocked, so I can actually start gaining some knowledge. I suspect I will. Let's rotate once. Okay. So if I rotate one more time, I can get to my Knowledge Orb of Astrium, giving me another Astrium to a total of 2, and then I can cast Virtue Conjure to cast the active orb 4 times in order to get another 4, taking us up to a total of 6. Which, realistically, assists me with almost nothing. I'm likely to reroll the Alchemist Missile this turn, because it can actually have a better result. Okay, yeah, that result is a lot more self-justifying here. So, let's gain a little bit of health and rotation here. Do I actually need to maybe deal some purification on myself? You know what? I will. Let's just be a bit safer here. I don't need to possibly suddenly die. Perfect. Huge amount of Astrium there. Now gives us the ability to use Alchemist's Missile to do our Astrium in damage to the enemy, as well as lose 1 Astrium after that. And I draw a die that happens to roll a side that I elect to discard instead. Cool. I think I will actually stay on Knowledge right now. Enemy is currently just going to help me unlock additional things for the next turn by attacking. Sure, I'll just deal the final to them, and then I don't want to rotate again, please. Okay. Well, first things first, I'm re-rolling all of the 3 die currently that have their worst possible side. Do 2 purification for each Astream you have, then decrease them by 1. And then 1 for each Astream I have. If I rotate now, I'm on the Cosmic Orb, giving me the ability to do 3 to all enemies. Taking them out, they death bomb me back, but it's not enough to take me out in return. Woohoo, Corruption Purified. Defensive Boon, Punch, and Cosmic Expulsion. Defensive Boon applying Light Shield to all enemies will help offset some of our stuff, but this punch, legitimately? This punch just gives me the ability to do large damage every so often, and I will just occasionally need that, especially in the early game. Another Alchemist's Missile? Oh, Melancholic Revelation. I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. It's so good. Oh, I'm gonna have to play around having common upsets, but I legitimately think this is fine in pretty much most builds. I am more than willing to be wrong. There's also the Alchemist Missile over the left-hand side. The fact that I don't have the ability to very easily generate a large amount of Astrea makes it really difficult to put a bunch of missiles in my deck and hope that that will carry me through. Whereas a draw tool, you know what? No, I'm relenting. I'm going back in the other direction for the Astrea missiles here. And then maybe I'll start looking for some balance die. Event or ambush. Yeah, I'm gonna start looking for some balance die to try and see if I can get better access. Deal 3 purification to targets for each light shield they have, 3 additional purification to a random enemy for each light shield that Sentinels have. There's order synthesization. Gain X Vow Reinforcement, where X is half of the amount of Astream you have. Okay, so it's related to Astream at least. Vow Reinforcement says increases light shield applied by devotion or by X. At the end of your turn, decrease Vow Reinforcement by 1. I see. Well, it doesn't direct where those light shields go. I don't know if that's actually great for us. Draw Rebound is probably the one I'm most comfortable with here. So I'll take it. Oh, there's also just a straight up draw. Draw 2 dice. I am putting a reasonable amount of player corrupts in this deck, so I'm going to have to get some good opportunities to self-heal, but I will go for the draw effect there. Enemy is going to outbreak when they're below half HP. So keep an eye on that, make sure that I don't die to it. I'm on the Knowledge Orb, which means it means that my phased incantation virtue is trying to deal corruption to any target. I don't really want to do that corruption to the enemy, and if I do it to myself, I can, but it's kind of risky. My punch has also rolled corruption to an enemy, which I would really like to reroll. So yeah, I will actually take this opportunity to do 3 damage to myself, unlocking the reroll. There are slightly better alchemy sides, but not really. I want the enemy to roll one of their sides where they're only doing 2 damage, please. Oh, and they do indeed. Love it. So unfortunately that means I won't unlock my Vital Virtue at the end of this turn, which actually is kind of sad. I don't really intend to use the Revolution here. But if I did, I'd be able to rotate to the Cosmic Orb and heal myself in order to have the enemies 2 corruption to me re-unlock the Revolution and the Cleromancy virtues. Yeah, this battle's gonna be for a long time. I can't just start planning to end it this early. And this gives me a lot of efficiency in terms of damage over the course of the next turn. Well, I mean, there's 3 primary reroll targets here as well. Oh boy. Well, I hit a pretty poor side myself, so I'm going to discard that and draw a new. Worse side. A new worse side. Gotta be ready to take 3 damage at the end of this round. The difficulty here is that I want to use the corrupt from the self-draw and then be safe afterwards. So the sequencing demands a little bit of thought. So I can get Light Shield if I rotate. If I rotate for the second time, I wouldn't necessarily, and I'd be okay doing that because I can rotate a third time. Okay, cool. So that means I'm going to revolve and attack the enemy. Wait, that's 2 on Revolution. Oh no. That's not actually what I wanted. Glad I called it in time. Well, I'll use that to hit myself then. Oh, and I get the enemy light shield. That's actually significantly better. I'm very, very pleased about that. Because now I have the ability to do 4 self-damage. And then I can rotate 1. Actually, I guess I could have done that later and I would have access to another rotation. Oops. Before I get off Karma, do I want to do 3 Purification to any target with the Virtue? Yeah, quite likely to myself. Now I have the ability to rotate to Knowledge. And then I can Conjure to get a bunch more of that Knowledge. And here's our payoff. With the 7 Astrium I now have, I can hit the enemy for 14 damage. Which would not take them below their split value. I'm almost certain Outbreak says at or below half HP. 26 is not half of 51. Oh no! The enemy is now doing a lot more damage. Am I dead as a result of that, actually? Kind of. Enemy intends to do 6 direct to me. The only way I can not be dead is by using the Virtue of Cleromancy to re-roll this and hopefully roll it into something better. So it's not dead, I just lose a single life here. I'm gonna check the text of Outbreak next time I see it. 26 doubles to 52. Which means 51 should split at 25. Yeah, I'm pretty certain about that. Alright. Well. Be that as it may. It's definitely time to draw another one of the Alchemist missiles out of the deck. That's not exactly the side I was looking for from it. Discard a Minor Purify for a draw. We get a punch effect. Cool. So I can either do 6 Purification to all targets, which probably isn't relevant here. Okay, yeah, that's definitely not relevant. The reason that's important is because if I use the missile first, and then I use the Praying Virtue, the Conjure Virtue, I get to 9 Astrium, whereas if I use the Virtue first, I get to 10, which immediately triggers itself and loses all of that Virtue. Yeah, did a whole mess of damage to the enemy there. And that'll finish it off. Boom. Thankfully, I'm okay losing a life on the first floor. but it's gonna get problematic soon. In Penitence Burst, when Karma is triggered, all enemies receive X Purification. Neat. There's also Alchemist Combustion here. Deal 1 Purification to all targets for each Astrium you have, then decrease Astrium. And then finally, Goddess Verdict. Deal 4 Purification to any target for each Light Shield applied by Devotion Orb during this turn. Ooh. That's a lot of power. But I also don't have the ability to do damage to a lot of targets at the same time, so Alchemist Combustion seems great here. I don't know if I want a second one, though. What? Okay, Clamor Pact. I'm not sure I'm passing this correctly. So you cast it when you're on the Karmic Orb. And when you're on the Karmic Orb and you cast the Clamor Pact, you cast all orbs 6 times. Which assumedly has to include the Karmic Orb. And if it includes the Karmic Orb, you're triggering Karma by the end of this. But you're also triggering all the other ones 6 times. However, if you're on a different orb and you play this, you deal 6 corruption to all targets, all the way down to 2, but... Interesting, interesting. I'm taking another Alchemist Combustion, but that was... that was a nice opportunity to see a couple more different options. Let's go to the random event or ambush. You found a Black Hole Telescope. I'm gonna have to get a random non-skippable. Draw an additional die per turn. At the start of each battle, gain 2 Doom. Oh no. Doom is pretty threatening to me right now. Don't really want to go to a shop just to buy a level 1 Sentinel. I'm gonna go get some money and then go to the hard battle. Brisket, biscuit, etc. Okay, 5 self-damage is my Alchemist Combustion here. I'm more than happy to cast that for the 5 self. Unlock a whole mess of stuff. First things first, Astral Exchange is not getting used this turn, so I'm just going to Claromancy that away. The enemies intend to apply Doom to us, as well as put a Wound Hex die into our draw. Oh dear. Well, I can do 3 Purification to all enemies. Seems probably the most efficient start here for us. I'd love to be able to cast this Alchemist Missile. Unfortunately, without being able to generate any Astrium yet, I cannot. Enemies intend to do 4 damage to me by the end of this turn. I could legitimately just spend the entire rest of the turn healing myself. I wouldn't love to, but it does legitimately seem like the best option for us at this point. Unless I want to get my final virtue active. Which I do. Okay, I'm going to accept the 4 incoming damage this turn. Really, I would cast the Alchemist Missile if I could, but I am not capable. I can re-roll it, though. Speaking of re-rolling, actually. Yeah, both of the enemies are actually on their worst available side. Sure, I'll re-roll my own just to see if I happen to get a result I'm capable of using. Nope, uncastable. Yeah, I was about to say, I've got to have a couple of minor revolutions here that just haven't managed to roll their better sides. Oh, enemy intends to give me 2 Doom now. I am very quickly getting to the point where pretty much any of my compulsory casts could just kill me. I'm gonna make sure that I have a chance of getting minor revolution. And I do. Beautiful. So I can now start generating a large amount of Astrium. Unfortunately, I didn't roll Alchemist's Combustion, but I will discard and roll away from that. Oh, cool, and get an Alchemist's Missile. So just a much wimpier version of the same thing. Rotates once. Rotates. Actually, I'll self-heal by 3 there. Enemy intends only to do 3 full damage this turn. Great. Rotate again, and then start gaining a bunch of Astrium before I start casting. Cool, 6 of it. Does 12 damage to the top line enemy. And then another 5. It's making absolutely certain I'm not about to hit the ground because of what I've done. Well, the rest of my draw pile has a wound in it, and also has an additional wound coming in. But if I don't do anything here, I leave the enemies unlocking my Conjure virtue again by the end of the next turn, making it much easier for me to try and end the rounds. Okay. Haste is the name of the game here. Oh, wow. Whole mess of things I am absolutely incapable of casting. And the wound hex die is actually just getting the heck out of the deck. Love that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna hit a hard and spicy reroll on all of my extreme negatives in hand. Only one of them still extremely negative. That's good. I'm gonna cast that punch back and draw something else, and I happen to draw and destroy the next wound die. It's actually ridiculous. Let's gain up to a total of 9 Astrium here. Yeah, I'm going to rebound the Revolution back into the deck as well. I can do 3 to both enemies. But if I do, there's an obvious downside. There we go. Wow. The enemy's hexes to us have actually just been buffs, as it turns out. Trying to purify another one there. Actually gonna discard the minor purify first. Hey, nice. Alchemist Combustion. 1 purification to all enemies for each Astrium I have, then decrease Astrium by 1. Boom. And that's our full self-heal as well at the same time. Love it. 1 purification to a random target. Hits an enemy. They're both doing AoEs, and I really don't want them both to do AoEs this round if I can avoid that. Part of avoiding that might actually be trying to take one of them out, though. 1 damage to an enemy in a rotation, then I'll rotate again. Trigger Astrium, do a bunch of damage to the enemy, refresh my virtues, get a bunch more Astrium immediately afterwards. The fact that you can use Conjure to complete Astrium while you are on the Knowledge Orb, and then re-unlock the virtue that gave you the ability to do that in the first place, is one of the big reasons that I wanted to take the Cosmos Elixir as early as I did. Do I reroll both the enemies now? I'm kind of leery of re-rolling without a plan. That's a pretty good plan. Draw and rebound. Oh, I get to draw anything I want out of the draw pile. That's great. You know what? Let's take an Alchemist's Combustion. And it hits the exact right side. Grand news for all involved. Do 1 damage to all targets. For each Astream, that is. Oh, should have rerolled the enemy before that because it just re-unlocked the reroll. Woof. It's actually still one of their worst sides. I'm gonna try and give the enemy some light shield here. In order to make it harder for them to both heal as well as activate their overcorruption, because their overcorruption is just doming us for 6. What is with these dizzy die? They only give me the best available side. The best available side, of course, isn't great, but it's a hex die. So it's about as good as it could be. I kind of want to reroll the draw, but if I reroll the draw poorly, I could just die. We're definitely just doming the enemy for 6 there. They want to do 3 damage back to me. Yeah, there's no more interesting play that doesn't risk the possibility of just immediately taking another life away from me. Oh well, I just do another damage to the enemy. Plus this way I can leave the virtue open. Oh, it's actually funny how effective those dice have been. Alchemy and alchemy. Cool, I'll just re-roll alchemy actually, as it turns out. Enemy intends to give me 2 hex die. I'm not going to re-roll that. Okay, 2 damage for every purification. Then 1 damage for every purification. Sorry, every Astream we have left. Now, still 1 damage for every Astream we have left, and it's dwindling over the course of that time. Protect myself with light shield, direct the enemy. Okay, yeah, we're getting out of here without another scratch on us, I can only imagine. Oh dear. Mayhaps I have spoken too soon. Executus? I've only got dizzy dice in hand, and they're all a bit of a problem. So I do get to choose any tool I want from the draw pile right now. Which is difficult. Because Punch feels like it's the most likely to be able to actually end the fight for us. But it's also the worst defensive tool. So it doesn't give me the ability to do anything else if... I'll take Punch. Oh, God. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what you don't want to see. Okay, so I have 6 health that I am capable of losing. I'm going to do 3 light shield to myself, so now I have 9 health that I'm capable of losing without immediately ending the video game. And then if I do 8 self-damage with the Dizzy... Oh, wait, no, that still targets the enemy. Oh god, that's annoying. 7 self-damage with the Dizzy. I re-unlock a bunch of these virtues to play with, including rerolls. Let's discard the... Discard and roll past 10. I'll roll the enemy and then both of my negatives in hand. Oh, they all stayed about as bad as they were. Oh no. Well, both of these are corruptions that I have to deal to the enemy. And as soon as I start doing them, I am going to overcorrupt the enemy. I believe I now die. I believe this kills me. I can self-heal, but I have to do 7 corruption to the enemy next, which causes them to overcorrupt, and then they do 6 damage to me, so I lose that life. Oh, I re-unlock a bunch of virtues, though. Maybe I can get out of this. Oh boy. I'm so much off worse for wear, but I guess we will technically survive. Yeah, I need a much more reliable way of rotating around to and gaining Astrea. Retrograde. The ability to move backwards. Having a little bit of that spiced in the deck will give us a lot more control over our rotation. There's also just draw plus plus if I want to make myself even risky. I'm taking the retrograde. Prediction Convergence requires the knowledge orb to be active to use this action. Discard all dice from your hand, gain 2 Astrea for each die discarded, then draw 1 additional die for each. That's exactly the thing I need in this build. There's also equivalent conjuration, cast all orbs one time. I'm going to ignore that. Choose a star blessing every 2 hex die you play, destroy that dice instead of discarding it. Could have been useful for us. Whenever an enemy gets overcorrupted, apply 1 serenity to that enemy, or whenever you or a sentinel deal corruption to an enemy, move your orbs clockwise 1 time. You know what? I'm taking the Revolution Halo. It'll give me a little bit of ability to manage my own rotations, additionally to where I currently am. And that can make the whole difference. Okay, let's destroy a Minor Purify. There is a Forge Shop. And I would love another copy of Prediction Convergence. So we go to the Forge Shop and have a look at that. Ooh. There's an Oscillate here. Move your orbs clockwise, then counterclockwise 4 times. I kind of want to just dupe Prediction Convergence. But I like Oscillate. Maybe it should go on something else. Or maybe just an Area Purify to cover one of the negatives, because I am just rolling them all the time. Yeah, actually, one of the Alchemist's Combustions, I'm going to change the Area Corrupt into an Area Purify. However, that's not going to be the dice that I dupe. I will be duping the Prediction Convergence, because I think my whole deck kind of hinges on that at the moment. And then our next destruction goes for another Minor Purify. At the shrine, I still need some value, so I'm going to get 100 star shards rather than a heart, and then face the vines. Draw and rebound the next. Will it be something I can use? Oh boy, barely. My hand is full of alchemical tools. If only I knew how to read. Enemy intends to put a minimize on us as well as deal 2 corruption. That's not that bad. The bad thing is that I'm only going to be capable of casting a maximum of 2 dice this turn. Activate the enemy die every time you do 5 instances of purification to it. You know what? I'm not even going to hit the enemy for the second one. Yeah, it just wasn't a large enough value of damage. It's the next purification you deal will be decreased to 1. Okay. Well, I want to take 4 self-damage to my alchemical combustion here. Re-unlocking all of my tools. So I can start gaining some Astrea before I leave this area with the Conjure. I'm gonna discard my minor Conjure to draw something else. It's another alchemical combustion. And now if I start rotating, that should do the purification to an enemy. Triggering that vengeful stab, I can follow up with 8 damage directly to the enemy's face. Then let's rotate another 2 times, targeting myself with a self-heal as well. Then I'm also going to self-heal with the Karmic Virtue there for another 3. Rotate 1 more time, I'll also do that to myself. 5 damage to the enemy? Does that justify them doing 2 AoE strikes here? I think so. I've got to remember the alchemical combustion also heals us. I keep forgetting that deeply, deeply impactful part of it. Oh, prediction convergence, eh? Before I do that, I'm going to reroll, well, both of the prediction convergences as well as the draw die to see if I can get a better result here. Well, I can. At least one of the prediction convergences rolled a 2, so I get to discard all of these from hand and gain 2 Astrea for each discarded. Yep, which means I will trigger Astrea. Now let's discard the alchemy die I drew and get a different alchemical die. Gain 4 more Astrea. I'll do 2 damage to the enemy and rotate 4th, and then I'm going to use the counterclockwise rotation to go back. After doing another 3 to the enemy, rather. I actually do want to reroll the enemy here. Oh, they're only threatening to minimize now. Not even strike themselves. Is that worth doing 7 to them? I think it is. Alright. Your turn, buddy. I'll leave these virtues unlocked in the back pocket for later. Great. Let's hit the reroll on all the worst ones remaining in hand at that time. Ooh. They did get significantly better. Let's have a draw as well as a throwback into the draw pile. Oh, I'm almost tempted to do that on the prediction convergence now. And when I say almost tempted, what I mean is tempted. I'll cycle to get rid of minimized before I throw the 7 damage directly at the enemy's face. Wait, I had 2 charges minimized, so actually I didn't get to do that damage to them. Oh, knowledge orb isn't active anymore. Yeah, that makes sense. Oops. I'm gonna do AoE damage as well. So they'll do 2 in AoE, which will trigger their overcorruption, but unless I deal more purification to them, that's where that ends. So I should end my turn here. And just make sure I self-heal before I try and do anything to the enemy. Neat. I really do want to rotate twice, if possible here. See if I can get a better result on all 3 that have rolled their worsts. Okay, yeah, I get an Astrea that I do have the ability to actually fish from, but unfortunately it's only for a prediction convergence. Oh, or is it only for a prediction convergence? If I use Cleromancy to discard 1, I draw the final thing out of my draw pile, and in doing so, give myself the ability to set up a new draw pile. Still definitely looking for Revolve. Yeah, let's get the counterclockwise rotation. Okay, so this gives me the ability to get back to the knowledge orb. Going to target myself for heal as well as the retroactive. It goes back. Beautiful. Then let's gain enough to do Astrea. Enemy's pretty much ready to do more damage to me, which is great. I'll rotate, triggering their Vengeful Stab, which just gives me the ability to rotate again if I should like. I'm going to conjure a couple times there before hitting him in the face with a punch, taking him out, get to the next floor. So sure, I have 1 fewer Star Blessings than I otherwise might have, but we're still alive. Armory Sphere with the possibility of allowing me to reroll seems like a very useful tool at this point in time with the kind of deck that I have. Inventive, Voidseek, or Harvest Inscription. Inventive allows us to discard cards from hand, die from hand rather, in order to randomly damage enemies. Voidseek draws specific die from my discard to reroll, and Harvest Inscription, whenever Cosmic Orb becomes active, gain X Astrea. Oh. You know what? Yeah. I'd like that. Replace your reroll virtue with a retrograde 1 virtue. That seems pretty risky. Seems ridiculously risky. There's also draw 2 additional dice per turn. At the start of each battle, applying 1 agony to a random enemy. I would already be drawing 4, 5, 7. Draw an additional dice per turn. At the start of each battle, add 3 wounded hex die into your draw pool as well. Very not keen on that either. All of these seem pretty risky. Giving agony to enemies. I would have to be ready to start just like nuking them out of existence. But drawing 2 additional die per turn. I understand this to be a very, very hard modifier to be running with. However, the more I draw, the more likely I am to get to my prediction convergences, and also the more impactful my prediction convergences are because they discard all dice from hand and then do values resulted. So I'm effectively gambling that while Impious Contract might give the enemy the ability to end the fight a lot earlier, hopefully it gives me the ability to end the fight even earlier than that. I think I might want to go Event Ambush into Safe Die. What negatives would I even want to remove from my deck at this point? Conjure doesn't need to be in there. It's a very, very heavy card in this deck. Okay. Well, managed to find the dead weight there. I was happy cutting. Okay. Okay, so for what it's worth, Outbreak itself does actually say what it considers to be the half value. So it's my bad. Oh no. The Astral Exchange only needs me to have 2 Astrium, and I'm not even going to be able to generate that yet. Well, fine. Guess I'm going to have to use the Prediction Convergence after I rotate 1. So, let's do so. Let's also start taking out the enemy that has the Agony, gaining additional Doom. Discard that hand for a whole new one. How badly do I want to self-damage for 5 here? Because I really do want to use Alchemical Combustions. Okay. I'm going to elect to reroll the Alchemical Combustion with my ally here. Oh, that's what we're looking for. Then I'll gain 2 more Astrium, and now I get to nuke everyone for 8 and then 7 Astrium. Pretty magnificently effective opening turn. They are going to silence me and add another Doom to me, though. Gonna do 3 Corruption to an enemy as well. Which triggers the Revolution Halo, which I forgot about, rotating my orbs clockwise one time. This is actually pretty good because it gives me the Cosmic Orb active, so now I can do 3 damage to both of the enemies before then rotating myself back. Allows me to keep up the hunt for Astrium. Unfortunately, I'm silenced, so my virtues are disabled this turn. But wow, that's a lot of Astrium power I have in hand. Okay, first off, draw 2 die. You can use the Astral Exchange to fish for anything as well. Let's use this to fish for a combustion effect. I'm fine with that version of it as well. Yep, 5 AoE combustion, please. That does trigger your doom, but for what it's worth, I don't expect you to be alive much longer. Also gonna reroll the Alchemist's Missile. Gets much worse. Well, 7 direct damage to the enemy, losing a little bit of Astrium, and then Prediction Convergence! Ha 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 my 2 negatives in hand, so I know which of them I intend to discard with the Cleromancy, and it turns out it's the area of effect instead. Great. Yep. We'll do 6 damage to the Wicked Librarian. Then I'm going to conjure 4 more Astrium before getting away from the Knowledge Orb. I get to the Cosmic Orb so that I can do 3 damage to all enemies. And then I'm going to Retrograde Rotate to go back to the Knowledge Orb, triggering Astrium, giving me a full refresh of our virtues. So then I can get another... I mean, I'll just do 6 direct damage to the enemy and then start thinking, yeah, silence all your virtues are disabled until the end of your turn. Uh-huh, are they? Well, yeah, there's actually a much better outcome here of just taking the enemy out. So I suppose I'll relent and do that. Corruption Purified yet again. Oscillate, Mass Cleanse, and then finally the Infusion Pack. Infusion Pack. When you're on the Knowledge Orb, refresh your virtues. On other orbs, deal 2 corruption to all enemies. This... I already basically do this, courtesy of the Cosmos Elixir. This would just be making it additionally risky for me if I don't manage to reach the Knowledge Orb. No, I have to skip there. Sorrowful Calling. So you get to pull specific things, but unfortunately you gain Karma, Weak Mass Cleanse. There's also Primordial Call. Minimum Astrium of 9. Cast current active orb 11 times. So if I have Astrium active, and then I cast this, it doesn't take away any of my Astrium, but it does complete Astrium twice. Yeah, I'm taking Primordial Call. It's a great payoff for a deck like this. Go check out some safe die now. Fission Expertise. Apply 3 Fission Expertise to an enemy. When you have Astrium, enemies with Fission Expertise take additional purification, then decrease Astrium by 1. No, I want to be able to actually trigger Astrium, which means I don't want to be just constantly decreasing my Astrium whenever I strike enemies. Calm will often overload a hand, but it does end a turn without discarding any dice from it. So it gives me a lot more flexibility in trying to keep a bad hand for a possibility of discarding it later. Penitence Burst, whenever I trigger Karma, all enemies receive purification. I'm gonna skip these. Comet Convergence. Cosmic Orb must be active in order to play this, but it just does purification to any target. There's also a Bright Inscription over on this side. Whenever the Cosmic Orb becomes active, gain X Brightful Decree, which gives the Devotion Orb the ability to give Light Shield to all enemies, and in fact dictates that it must. Alchemist die will just generally be pretty big for us over the course of this, but I don't think I need as many Alchemist's missiles as I've already drafted, so yeah, actually just trash a second die there. Head to the Broken Shrine. I'm looking for Star Blessing, please. Need to get ahead of this power curve. Every 8 starter die you play, I've already removed 3 of those, deal 6 purification to all targets. No thank you. Whenever an enemy dies, reroll, that enemy receives 3 purification. And then finally the Dice Smith Helmet, more dice equal more damage. I'm going to take the reroll enemies in order to deal damage. Follow up with some additional star shards and then head to the hard battle. Oh, it's Sothis. Sothis's Sentinel is the one that picks up the Agony buff, so it's definitely going to be the first thing I target. Frustratingly, I don't actually, in my hand, hold the ability to get to anything yet. I suspect I'm going to have to do 6 damage to myself immediately here, which is quite threatening when the enemy also intends to do 6 damage to me at the end of the turn. But it's the only way that I gain access to a revolution. Okay, 6 self-damage. I'm going to gain 3 light shield before I rotate. Get rid of one of the alchemy from hand as well. Oh boy. It's a draw rebound. Man, a lot of these are tough. Enemy is probably doing the best. Yeah, both of these enemies are basically giving me the worst ability they have access to. Move your orbs clockwise 1 time by dealing corruption to an enemy. Alright, that's how we're going to do it then. Deal corruption to the enemy. Revolving via the halo, and then I will revolve 1 more to get to some Astrea here. Then gain 4 more Astrea. And then I'm going to discard 4 from hand in order to gain 8 more Astrea and refresh my virtues. Primordial Call. If that was on an 8, would I be able to cast it? No. Gain a bunch more Astrea because I have the ability to do 7 purification to all targets on field. Punching the enemy in the face for 7 should also certainly be something I consider quite highly. Yeah, that was never really getting to a castable position, so I'm not too sad about that outcome. The enemy will be managing to re-unlock my Revolution virtue, as well as my reroll. So because of that, I should probably just go pretty hardcore on those. Don't need to use my Claromancy virtue yet, though. If I had anything I wanted to reroll right now, I absolutely could, but I don't have anything I really want to. Well done. Oh no! Rerolling the enemies does damage to them. That's the good reason to reroll the enemy. Although, for what it's worth, I did actually want the Corrupted Cauldron to be dealing damage to me and not giving me Hex Die, so... I don't know, I'm pretty okay with it. Especially because Sothis is giving us Madness Surge Hex Die, which deal corruption to us a random amount... a random target X times, where X is the amount of Hex Die I have in the pool, so... decreasing the amount of those in general. Seems great. Yeah, I'm gonna trigger Astrea pretty soon. So I should get to using some of my virtues here. Do 3 to the enemy from Karma. Discard the Hex Die. Rotate once. I could use Astral Exchange to pull any specific thing out of the draw that I want right now. I don't think anything really exists like that right now for me. Although, I will reroll all of the enemy die before I do this, as unlocking the virtues gives me the ability to reroll all enemy die again, which is more damage to them. Also now left on 9 Astrium. So yeah, a couple of things I would have liked to be able to cast now. Drew into a Hex die that I get to play to get rid of. Love it. I'm trying to use all of my available virtues before I reroll all the enemies again. That makes sense. Legitimately, the Trickster Crossstaff is giving me the ability to do a lot of damage with the virtues that otherwise don't really do damage, especially if I want to stay on the Knowledge Orb. The Knowledge Orb is basically invalidating my Open Virtue. My Open Virtue here does 3 corruption to any target when the Knowledge Orb is active. Not often a thing I want to really be casting. Ooh, enemy is actually now on their worst available side for us, so I will force you to reroll away from that. Oh, I get a draw though. And I get to discard one of them. Draw and rebound. And the rebound can be on my bigger Alchemist's Missile. Wait, actually. Actually, I think this is probably better. I'm gonna gain 2 Harvest Inscription. Actually, oh, I don't have enough. I don't know why I did. Why I thought I did. Thought I was gonna have some ability in order to get to 1 more knowledge this turn so that I could use the Primordial Call. Oops. Well, I'll do 16 damage to the enemy and then another 7 to everyone. Rotate to do another 2 to the enemy as well as gain some... Oh, that's where I was going to gain the Astrium. I rotated. But I was going to gain 2 Astrium by rotating anyway, so I was still going to invalidate the possibility of using the Primordial Call. Unless I used one of my Alchemist's missiles, then rotated, then used the Primordial Call. That was the play pattern I actually intended. I knew it was in there somewhere. Love to be able to take out the enemy here. Oh, I literally already have it. Oops. Wait, don't I? Even less oops. Woohoo! I don't actually have the win yet. Never mind, I do. I literally just re-rolled them. Oops. Oops. I did have the win. And then I misidentified that I didn't. That's as much loss as you can have in a single battle without actually losing. Astral Exchange gives us the ability to fish for specifics from the deck still. Ethereal Convergence. Requires the Karmic Orb to be active to use it. Increase Astrium directly to 9. And then there's also the Supernova Pact. On Cosmic Orb, it deals 25 purification to an enemy. On other orbs, it deals 25 corruption to yourself. The Astral Exchange mid-piece is actually really, really effective. The only thing is, when I draw an opening hand that's just chock-a-block with them, it's quite useless. I'm gonna take an Ethereal Convergence. Inner Peace for some serenity to ourselves. Inventive, the ability to discard some of the dice we've drawn. Vow Reinforcement. Increased light shield applied by the Devotion Orb. I'll be skipping that. Sun Eye. Whenever you deal corruption to an enemy, That enemy receives 5 purification. Mirror of Thought. While Karmic Orb is active, every time Karmic Orb is cast, gain 2 Penitence Burst. If Karmic Orb becomes inactive, lose all Penitence Burst. Holy crumbs. I want that. I want that in a different run. Not this run. I want that in a different run. I'm going to take the Purging Incense instead, allowing me to purge the second Hex die I play each turn. It's time to start getting some Sentinels, absolutely. Oh. Oh dear. Gain 3 epic die as well as the false prophecy, or 2 star blessings as well as the false prophecy. So the false prophecy is at the start of each battle apply infinity hidden to all enemies, so I don't get to see what their die has rolled, but I can see what they can roll. However, if I re-roll their die, I reveal all their die faces, and I'm already incentivized to re-roll the enemy courtesy of the Tricks to Cross Staff. Sure. Let's get 3 epic die from this. Prediction Convergence. Giant Astrium gains. Yes, thank you. Alchemist's Missile. Yes, thank you. Shield, Oscillate, and Goddess Verdict. Honestly, out of these, probably the Oscillate. I don't know if I understand Shield Boomerang. The game seems to value Shield Boomerang quite highly, but that confuses me because Shield Boomerang says apply 4 light shield to any target. If played, this dice is returned to your draw pool instead of being discarded, which does mean you draw into it very often. But is the range of 4 to 2 light shield, an average of 2.5, is that worth drawing every time? Do you want that? Maybe it's ridiculously impactful, but I'm gonna go with the Oscillate instead. You close your eyes to pray, and when you open them, your vision is gone. Okay, Sentinel Shop. Oh, Lunar Refractor. Being able to convert a couple of my baddies? Sounds good to me. I'm going to confirm taking that, and then I'm going to pop an upgrade. I almost just want to pop an upgrade on each of you and just keep you as my Sentinels. I'm going to double upgrade the Armory Sphere instead. Leave myself open to replacing the Lunar Refractor later. Another 50 Star Shards and a Heart for a Star Blessing, please. At the start of each battle, refresh your virtues. Starfield. We've also seen the Sun Eye and the Helmet before, so I did not go back over those, especially because we've seen them before in this run. But yeah, refreshing my virtues at the start of battle should give me a lot more control over what orb is active at any period of time. Alrighty, tidy. I would like to be able to revolve further forward, if possible at all. And it is! Hell yeah! I'm going to rotate. Then discard the Purify from hand? I didn't want to draw that, actually. That's basically the only thing I didn't want to draw. I'll reroll the enemy die, because that'll do some damage to them as well as reveal their die. I'll reroll the Sentinel. And I don't actually need to reroll anymore. There's almost no point in rerolling any additional one there. So now when I do 4 self-damage from my draw rebound, I'm going to re-unlock the ability to rotate. And in doing so, I get all the way to my knowledge. So when I do cast Prediction Convergence, it will trigger Astrium. I will gain enough Astrium to trigger Astrium. So I should make sure I use as many of my things as possible before that. Reroll the enemy there for a little bit of additional damage on him. Is it ever going to be deeply important that I draw before or after this? Possibly. Yeah, great. Just gets us a further one into the draw. Got him. Oh my god! Primordial Coal is in hand. That's so good for us. The reason that's so good for us is because I'm about to gain 4 more Astrium, taking us to a total of 9. So minimum Astrium of 9. Cast the current active orb 8 times. I'm going to re-roll that before I do it. I'll also re-roll the draw to see if that gets better. And the enemy for the damage. Okay, it didn't. That's fine. Let's throw past that draw. Yeah. Let's cast that current orb a bunch of times. That's also going to give me the ability to do the Virtue Conjure again. Let's use Cleromancy to get past the Minor Revolution there. Reroll the enemy as well as my worst sides in hand. Mm-hmm. Maybe I just draw Oscillate. Oh no. I'm gonna take the big prediction convergence. Oh, that's actually that's really good. Then I will cast my Conjure to trigger Astrium again. Great. Then I'll do that again for a bunch more Astrium again. Reroll the enemy here. Just to deal some damage. Could also do a little bit of a draw through this draw part. Yeah, I should continue the Cleromancy. I don't think it's important to oscillate like that. Prediction convergence plus plus plus. Now I gain 12 more Astrium. Astrium Specialist. Orion triggers Astrium 4 times in a single turn. Yep, that was gonna happen. As soon as I saw that mechanic. This is also great here. I'll use an Alchemist Missile to do 7 damage to the enemy and decrease my Astrium to 6. Giving me the ability to cast my Virtue, getting all the way back up to that. Woohoo! Let's also reroll the enemy and my worst available die. I'll discard that to draw new. I could leave this turn on 9 Astrium if I really wanted to. And my tools are dwindling. Okay, I'll leave this turn on 9 Astrium at the end. So that would be using a Alchemist's Combustion before Virtue all the way up to 9. And I still kind of want to stay on the Knowledge Orb because I know that the draw pile has 3 copies of Prediction Convergence. I'll do another 9 damage to the enemy before getting away from this, though. And then also just Reroll the enemy again for a little bit more damage on them. Beautiful. Your turn, buddy. Dealt half your HP, Paul. The enemy has paralyzed us, so we're drawing one fewer, and the main enemy is drawing twice as many. Oof. Let's definitely use the minimum Astrium fetch here for the prediction convergence. Then I'm going to draw and rebound that prediction convergence back into the draw pile. I almost want to use the alchemical combustion before that, though. No. Triggering Astrium enough times is still going to take these enemies out. Although that is also going to refresh my stuff. So before I do anything, I will re-roll a bunch of the enemy's things for some damage. Then trigger Astrium twice at the same time, taking out both of the sentinels. I want that prediction convergence to be a larger number, please. That's not a larger number. I'm gonna re-roll it one more time. Okay. 3 is larger than 2. I can't deny that, as much as I've tried. Okay, rotate forward. 3 damage to all enemies. Rotate backwards. And I'm gonna get a new card before I do anything here. Then trigger Astrium. Gain 4 more Astrium towards the next trigger. Alright. Then let's gain some more Astrium again. Why not? All the way up to 6. Beautiful. Leaves me in a perfect position to trigger the virtue again. Oh. Minimum Astrium of 9, cast your current active orb 9 times. Okay, so if I use an Alchemist's Missile against the enemy, I can lower my Astrium to 5, then I can increase it by another 4, getting to 9. Then trigger Astrium and cast it a bunch of times. Woohoo! I'm just gonna do 2 damage to the enemy and then trigger Astrium yet again, taking the enemy out. Yeah, it's a good deck. It legitimately, I think it only works because of the amount of draw that we have in here. Bellkeeper. Bellkeeper. So that's that's safe. The Bellkeeper here, basically. It's not exactly safe, the character, but it does look like them. They're rolling conjures. As they get larger, they have the ability to conjure all orbs, conjure the active orb multiple times. That is really, really impactful, actually. Yep. I'm going to take the Bellkeeper over the Lunar Refractor. I'm just going to rely on my rerolls. Alchemist's Missile that can do a bunch of purification per Astrium? Yep. Increases purification received by all targets by 1, but corruption received by you by by 2, all targets get purification increase, and corruption received by you is increased by 1. Oh no, definitely not this. Bottled Void, draw an additional die per turn. At the start of each battle, gain 2 stunned. You can't re-roll dice for 2 turns. Replace your Cleromancy virtue with an Oscillate 2 virtue. Oh, that's interesting. A lot of the time, Cleromancy is slightly difficult for me to use in hand. So this would give me the ability to do 2 damage to a random target, gain a light, do 2 more damage to another target, and get back to my original. And for what it's worth, if I have, where are you? Prediction Convergence, I think? No, not Prediction Convergence, that's the other tool for here. If I have Harvest Inscription up, I'm going past the Cosmic Orb twice with this. So I would just be gaining additional Astrium. I think this is actually a sick piece for this build. Superposition Blip. Makes us a little less safe, admittedly. But that's okay, because we already have safe. Spelled differently. Board shop. Wanna go back there? Go back there, maybe sell some stuff? I think so. When I say sell some stuff here, what I mean is destroy. So that would, like, the basic alchemy in the deck, I would be happy to get rid of, like, both copies of the basic alchemy. I've got significantly better versions of them, and I don't want to waste my alchemy on those wimpy little versions of alchemy. I'm doing mega alchemy. Oh god. Well, I only have to drop the ball 1 turn for this to be a big issue. Let's see how we go. Oh, I could get to my knowledge orb. Ah! Oh wow. Alrighty then. So, good lord, this is gonna be a big turn. Oh no. Okay, let's do 3 purification to the enemy before I do anything else. Because I know when I get on my knowledge orb, I'm not going to want to cast that virtue anymore. Tabby. Let's rotate to that virtue. Gain a bunch from it. So now I can do 5 purification to a target as well as draw. Astral Exchange also has the ability to pull any specific from the draw pile I'd like. Actually, pull specifically Harvest Inscription. Oh, he rolled 2! Oh my gosh. Okay, anytime Cosmic Orb becomes active, we're gonna get more! If I cast the Virtue, I think I actually get full Astrium again. Yeah. Yeah, that's how that works. I want to reroll the enemy as well as my guy. Great. Oh, they're intending to silence me for a turn. I'm not actually about that. I'm probably going to reroll you again before the end of the round. Wait a second. Okay, so Oscillate, I had this wrong. I thought what Oscillate did was go... Oscillate says move your orbs clockwise, then counterclockwise, right? I thought it said if Oscillate twice, you move them clockwise twice, and then counterclockwise twice. But no, it moves them 1 clockwise, and then 1 counterclockwise, an amount of times. Which actually makes this even more ridiculous. Do I have an infinite? I might actually have an infinite here. We did it! We're going infinite! Unfortunately, the setup is in the absolute worst fight for it, as the enemy has also infinite HP. But yeah, this is a legitimate full infinite. It just takes 2 virtues to do it, and it refreshes both of the virtues as it's accomplished. Oh hell yeah. Well, thing is, I don't need to do everything. forever, you know? I do need to leave myself with a good draw pile, so that's probably my highest priority at this point in time. So the best way to do that would be drawing deep into the pile. Oh, wait, actually! Oh my god. No reroll? Yeah, that's fine. I'm pretty sure that as long as I end my turn and the enemy doesn't silence me next turn, I can just infinite them every turn. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna reroll the enemy just so I know what they're up to, and then start rerolling my own to make sure that I have appropriate things that I'm comfortable with remaining in my hand. Enemy only intends to silence me, that's fine. Great. I don't need to cast any of these. Oh. Yeah, his character's cool as hell. I like him a lot. I see. Well, I'm just gonna pop one of them bad boys. And start getting ready to reroll the worst things in my hand. Okay, that's fine. I can just use as many of these other virtues as I want as well. It's just they're not typically that useful for me. Great, nothing compulsory that I have to cast in hand. So all I need to do is make sure that the enemy is no longer doing damage. And we're there. Orion, move your orbs 50 times in a single battle. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm not half surprised. I mean, I could even make it get nuttier if I wanted to add even more Harvest Inscription in. Not that it needs to get nuttier, but it can. I'll reroll the enemy just so I know what they're up to. Yeah, that's fine. Righteous Conjuration. Gain light shield equal and cast your current orb X times equal to half your amount of light shield rounded up. Claromancy, the ability to discard and draw, and Supernova Pact. Definitely skipping those. Prediction Convergence. I have enough of you in the deck. I don't need another. Experimental Pack. Oh, wait a second. Experimental Pact. Knowledge Orb, draw 3 dice. On the other orbs, you add 3 paralyzed hex die into your draw pool. So yeah, I can see it. I can see the value here. However, it also moves your orbs clockwise one time, so it moves you away from the knowledge orb, which is actually where I want to be if I've just drawn a bunch of things. I'm gonna skip that too. While you have 1 heart, you deal 2 additional purification. Every 8 safe die you play, refresh your virtues. Literally anything that just allows me to refresh my virtues more makes it so much easier for me to set up this infinite. I don't actually want more dice anymore. I'm pretty sure I'm fine, thanks. Money. Why don't you offer me some risky die? Fragility Pact. On Karmic Orb, apply 2 Serenity to any target. On the other orbs, apply the Torment instead. Cosmic Orb, bunch of damage to an enemy. Skip. Experimental Pack is back. Exceptional Conjure is there too. Volatile Reaction. Gain a Catalyst and gain 5 Karma. Catalyst says decreases the amount of Astrium needed to trigger Astrium by X. Astrium trigger can't be lower than 3. You don't have to cast this. Yeah, it's not necessary that we would actually even have to cast this. Because it is, while it does give us karma, it doesn't count as a negative side, a mandatory negative side. So if I roll this, I can just discard it. If I don't think I can afford that karma. I am worried it would bait me into making some mistakes that I don't need to make. So you know what? I'm gonna keep myself safe. Oh, the enemy's got Thorn here. No, it's fine. We full heal constantly. Oh, and we're still on the Knowledge Orb. Oh, are you serious? Well, game's apparently serious here. That's interesting. Don't know why you would do this to yourself. Gain a bunch of Astrium, start re-rolling some of my worst die in hand. And also the future reroll. More rerolling. Ooh, draw 2. Love that. Especially because I managed to get to one of the prediction convergences. I knew that I needed to get a prediction convergence in this hand. And now I have. Unfortunately, doing the damage from the Cosmic Orb to the enemy's Thorns does cause them to just do damage back to us. That said, I'm pretty sure the next thing I'm supposed to do is prediction convergence. It's on its 3. 3 is the average. I'm just gonna let that 3 resolve rather than trying to reroll for a 4 and risking a 2 in the process. We did it! We got the Harvest Inscription, which means it's time to infinite this enemy. Thankfully, the enemy is also gaining Serenity every time I actually deal Purification to them, which is making the future casts a lot more impactful. So this isn't going to take a trillion years. The enemy is on my side here. They see where this is going, and they elect to die relatively soon. Got him. Reflexive Mind. It's another Orion achievement, would you believe? And it says, win a ground 0 battle without moving your orbs. Yep, we absolutely did that. There's no way I'm taking another dice. You can't make me. Orbital resolution. Nope. When Cosmic Orb deals purification to a target with Light Shield, multiply that purification by the amount of Light Shield that target has. Or Sun Eye. Whenever you or a Sentinel deal corruption to an enemy, that enemy receives 5 purification. Or finally, the Stellar Flag. Every 3 turns, apply 2 Light Shield to all targets. I don't want any of these. The 2 Light Shield to all targets is probably the most tangibly useful. I might even want them. I think I want the money more than those because I don't actually believe they influence our run in any fashion. Okay, next upgrade for you would be 200 and then 250, making 450 enough to get that Sentinel upgrade sharp. Comfy with that. Am I? Actually? Hang on. We'll resolve that in a second. Sorrowful, Vow Reinforcement. I've seen all of these and I don't want any of these. Astrium Singularity. Minimum Astrium of 9. Draw dice until your hand is full, then lose all Astrium. I don't need you. Take the money. Now I actually need to consider, do I go to the Forge Shop instead? As that would give me the opportunity to... Oh no, I can't dupe epics, and the Harvest Inscription is an epic. Ah, bugger. Dang heck, gosh and willy. It would give me the ability to discard more things from the deck, which is... I mean, if I discard enough things from this, I don't want to discard Minor Revolutions because I still do need to be occasionally moving forward, but Minor Conjure, that could get rid. Draw Rebound could absolutely get the heck out of here. Although occasionally the draw and rebound with the Astral can be useful. Punch can get out of here, that's definitely not needed anymore. I could remove 2 things right now. But I've got to compare that against Upgrade. So the Armillary Sphere would be 250 and then 350, 600 total for the full upgrade. Can't do that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to take this opportunity to destroy 2 more dice from the deck. One of them will be Punch, and the other one will be Minor Conjure. 2 Star Blessings for a single heart, and it even leaves me with an extra heart still left for the boss fight? Absolutely. At the first draw phase of each battle, draw an additional die? You know what? Sure. I don't draw a full 8 on turn 1 yet. And I've already said I want to turn down the Platinum Star as well as the Dicemith Helmet, so might as well take the alternative. Every 3 times you deal Purification, apply 1 Light Shield to a random target. I legitimately think that's actually probably quite useful for us. Alright. Oh no, we're starting on the Cosmic Orb, which leaves me as far as possible from my... Never mind. Never mind. Gonna give me Cosmic... You did! I was kidding. But they gave me Harvest Inscription in the opening hand, so, I'm gonna re-roll all the enemy die here. Yeah. Anyway. I'm just gonna keep blasting. The full infinite is already set up and I am now killing the enemy. Yep. I don't even know what to say. The infinite's going off and I could not be more pleased. I saw the potential for this kind of thing. I always eventually do. I didn't even legitimately intend this one entirely as much as I just wanted to get a large amount of control over refreshing my virtues and drawing dice, and whoops, turns out I have enough control over those to infinite. Interestingly, if I did this against Astrea's Heart, I think I actually still take them out. Because they will cycle back and forth between their different versions, but they're not gonna stop me. Oh. I'm gonna pull back the curtain for a millisecond here and say that I was on the fence about whether or not I wanted to record today. I'm tired. I'm super tired. I turned 30 2 days ago, and now all my bones are creaking constantly. But yeah, no, I'm over the moon about this. I'm so glad that I decided to. Yes, just keep hitting those 2 virtues, and the enemy will die eventually. deal like 20 to you with one of my alchemist missiles. That's still so minimal. Alright. There you go, buddy. Let's actually finish you off with some missiles. Corruption Pure. Wait. Autonomous Beacon. Choosing specific side for us could be pretty valuable. No, I'm fine. Goddess Verdict, Retrograde, Defensive Aura. There's a world where I could consider Retrograde. It could be helpful to get to the right tool at the right time. And I do, like, this build does live or die by whether or not I get to the right orbs. I can just defend while I'm getting there still. Yeah, I'm gonna take additional money instead. Replace your reroll virtue with a retrograde 1 virtue. No, thank you. Draw an additional die per turn. At the start of each battle, apply on 4 unholy mists to you, or draw 2 additional die per turn. You can only use 1 virtue per turn. No. No. Refresh ignores his virtue. Yeah, sure, but still, no. I'm gonna take money rather than a Black Hole Blessing, I think, here. Actually, the Lamp of Mists could theoretically help me when I'm outside of turn 1 and I'm still fishing for the infinite. Also, I'm not certain that extra 50 actually would have helped us at all. I could buy an epic die. Evilius or Solarius? I think Evilius is probably the right one, because I can just destroy your friends every single turn easily. Yeah, let's upgrade the Armory Sphere to the point that it's not just occasionally rolling a 1 for its rerolls. Eventually I'm gonna have to remember exactly what these enemies all individually do. Yeah, like I need to counter-rotate 1 time this turn, which is going to be difficult. Wait, no, do I? I don't have the full setup, but I'm kind of halfway there. Draw, rebound, draw. Okay, I'm gonna reroll Revolution for the possibility that it can get the oh no. No, I'll keep Revolution actually. I'm gonna reroll the draw as well as one of the enemy die here. That's my bad. I actually shouldn't have done that like that, but it's gonna work out fine. I'll rotate once myself. Wee bit of a self-heal and rotate there, taking out the enemy. And then if I do 4 self-damage, I re-unlock the rotate, giving me the ability to get to Astrea. Great. And now prediction convergence. I'm to draw some new tools. Oh, that'll work. I've even got retrograde if I want to go backwards to the Karmic Orb. Actually, I could go backwards to Karmic, gain up to 9, and then rotate back. This is so wild. Astral Exchange. You need to pull something specific out of the draw pile. Harvest Inscription would be great. That's not the value I want on Harvest Inscription for infiniting reasons. I've got 2 rerolls. Sure, I'll reroll it twice. Alright. Well, it's infinite time. Absolutely got him. He's gonna take a while to get him, got him, but I got him. Feel free to, look, if you absolutely, I find it difficult to vamp when I'm doing an infinite. We know I'm gonna be clicking these 2 buttons for the next 4 minutes, possibly, I'm gonna guess. What I'm saying is, if you need to skip ahead, you're more than welcome to. You do that with my blessing. You know what, actually? I can't believe I hadn't done this yet, but I'm gonna go to gameplay and turn the battle speed to ultra fast. And then I'm gonna continue resolving this. Oh, that's a lot faster. Yeah, only when I'm doing an infinite will I actually play it at this speed, as the game is beautiful, and making it render this fast makes it not only difficult to understand, but certainly a little less visually appealing. Oh, this is definitely not going to take 4 minutes at this rate. Hell yeah. Also, light shields are doing... There's a lot of light shields out on the field now, as a result of the old Stardust garb. Get turn wand. I forgot that this is an AoE fight at the start. Oh my god, we're literally on the knowledge orb at the moment. Game, why would you do that? Game, you know what you've done. Okay. I'm gonna re-roll the Harvest Inscription that I currently hold in hand because, of course I'm going to do that. It's infinite time! I don't know what to tell you! Absolutely got him. I'm just gonna keep casting these until there's no more enemies to cast them on. You know, when I triggered this infinite against the enemy with infinite health, I didn't know exactly how consistent I was going to be capable of making this infinite. But doing it turn 1 every turn is... Yep, pretty insane. Turn 1 every turn. Turn 1 every fight, but also turn 1 is the only turn that occurs in these fights, so also every turn. And I think that'll be all they wrote. In just a moment here. Bingo. Hello, Astrea. You put me back on the knowledge orb! And Harvest Inscriptions in my opening hand. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, why? I got the sides I needed. We're going now. I mean, legitimately, I just... Yeah, the enemy's going to be changing back and forth between those consistently. Occasionally, they will do 2 damage to everyone, but before they can ever do that again, I will heal everyone multiple times. Oh, God. If there's an achievement for, like, infiniting this boss, I'm on my way pretty quickly to it looks like here. Oh, that's annoying. The enemy is actually dealing enough self-corruption that they might get to destroy one of my hearts. How is that happening? Deals 2 corruption to all targets every 5 times you play an action. Got it. The only problem is Crimson Solace going to trigger before the Singularity Goddess? So after I play my next Virtue, will the enemy do 2 corruption to all of us and then change state? Based on working from a previous episode, I do believe that that effect triggers go left to right under the character. This is important because that determines whether or not the overcorruption does damage to me or destroys one of my hearts. I think I only have one way to figure that out. Perfect. It triggered in the way that I imagined it would, and in doing so, did not take one of our hearts at all. So I'm just going to be continuing to absolutely eviscerate this enemy with an infinite. I'm about halfway through their HP pool at this point, by the by, if you're not watching the screen for the entire resolution, and of course I don't blame you. A lot of it looks very similar. I don't want to just boldly say immediately that, you know what, this is my favorite character. But you know what, this is my favorite character. There's only so much nonsense I can do before I have to realize, yeah, this is where I needed to be. Oh, there's so many interesting and unique things going on in this fight, by the way, but I'm not going to interact with any of them. I'm just going to interact mainly with I'm going to interact exclusively with 2 of my own virtues. I'm just going to be pious and patient over here until you die. I always love it. When I'm playing a game like this, I always love the first episode that goes out with Going Infinite. They all have a similar essence of my soul imbued into that episode. Got him! That's the Astrea heart down! And this Australian heart beating fast. Aquarian Hero. Defeat Astrea with Orion is the achievement we got there. Not for an infinite or any some such. That's a-okay, mind. I just wanted to let you know that the achievement sound you heard was not related to the achievement that I had theorized the possibility of existing. Alright. That's one level up for us. Orion is now level 5 and has unlocked the Black Hole Blessing of Aeon's Tentacle. Aeon, sorry. At the start of your turn, move your orbs clockwise 8 times. Whenever Aeon Tentacle casts Karmic Orb and Cosmic Orb, the purification dealt is not considered dealt by... That's really important, actually. It's not considered to be dealt by you. From now on, you have only 1 heart. Yeah, okay. I'm really interested in Aeon Tentacle, just by default here, but also... The Karmic or the Cosmic Orb having the ability to deal purification damage from you would just cause this to kill you a lot of the time. Because enemies tend to respond to purification dealt specifically by you. Dice action. Gain a refresh of your virtues, but also gain X guilt. Guilt says it decreases the amount of karma needed to trigger karma by X. Cool. And then the final dice action, create and roll a new Pseudo-Sun++ die. A Pseudo-Sun++ die is a die with 5 Pseudo-Sun actions and 1 corrupt action. A Pseudo-Sun action, create and roll a new Resplendent Sun die. Destroy this die. Okay, so we got a bit of Alpha, Beta, or Gamma going on in here. Alpha, Beta, or Omega. Yeah. We got a build that is going to create a larger effect over time eventually. We can see this as well represented visually. The solar candle itself only has 1 pip of 6 different pips arranged in a star formation, colored in. The Pseudo-Sun action has 2 of them. I can only imagine the Resplendent Sun would have 3, some additional after that, 4, 5, and then the 6 value, which probably just says kill your enemy or something like that. Or something to that effect. Do 100 purification. We unlock the anomaly level of 7, and defeating Astrea's level 4 gives us Astrea's level 5. So the anomaly level 7 increases boss's max corruption, and the Astrea level 5 increases... Sorry, you don't recover all of your hearts when corrupted oracles and Astrea's avatar are defeated. That makes sense. I was kind of surprised that I did the last time that I did. For the moment. My name's Rhapsody. Name the game. Well, that's been Astrea, 6-sided oracles. Top left is the series playlist for all my content of the game past, present, and future. YouTube recommendations down below. Streaming pass. Excuse me. So rude at the very end of an episode as well. Streaming pass are the names of the people so generally supporting the public on patreon.com/Rhapsody plays out above the thank you. Especially the next episode, Sorathil. Hopefully you'll be enjoying yourselves. Hopefully we'll see you next time.